Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Asta the Greek, and today it's finally time. The tier list, or rankings, of Artless Deceit's cast. This took me hours to make, mainly because there are so many characters here. I mean, 29? Goddamn, bro! Since this is bound to be a long video, let's not wait any further. We're going to start with the D tier characters. At number 29, we have Kumiko Arase, the founder of EOS. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about the characters in the D tier. They have so little presence that I ranked them based on design or what we'll learn from the other characters about them. And from what I've seen in the second interlude, Kumiko is kind of a bitch. At number 28, we have Akira's brother, Hitoshi Hayasaka. Another character with minimal presence. We only see him at the start of the prologue, making him appear as an overprotective brother. He mustn't be very good if he's unaware of his sister's criminal activities. At number 27, I have Yukie, or Kitsune. She seems like a nicer and cooler character, and I really like her design. But sadly, as a character that is already dead, yeah, I'll need a lot of flashbacks in order to put her higher. And of course, following Yukie, Ryusei is at number 26. He sounds like a great leader, and I'm sure I'd love that, because, again, leader characters. But sadly, since he is dead, there's little to talk about here. At the top of D tier, and at number 25, there is Kaoru Yasunaga. I don't know why I have this idea that Kaoru is going to end up being evil, but I still like her design, and as the more alive member of the last few we've discussed, I'm curious to see her development and role in the story. And now we are on to C tier. At number 24, we have the girl herself, Hanako. Reason why Hanako is higher than the other dead people on this list is the mystery surrounding her. She has to be important to the plot, and I'm sure we will see more of her from flashbacks moving forward, and I'm looking forward to that. Here comes the first main cast character. I'll be honest here. I have nothing against Kiyoshi, but he's just so forgettable. I think the reason for that is that most of his screen time is the puppet stalking and not actually him. Still, it's crazy to me that when doing the tier list, I just couldn't remember his name. And Kiyoshi is one of the people I auditioned for, and I'm pretty sure it's in my top 10 most listened auditions as well. And yet I couldn't remember his name until I saw it written, and I don't know what's going on here. At number 22, there is Ko. Putting Ko a bit higher because he's not a cutesy mascot character, it's just a kid. I do like that Ko is aware that someone has tampered with his programs and can't stop the killing game even if he doesn't want them to die. That seems like a nice change from the usual formula. Just that, again, very little screen time so far. Top of C goes to Itsumi Yoko, or Bunny. The ultimate game dev suffers from the same issue as Kiyoshi. Bunny is very quiet and has little screen time, something all of the characters lack in the series thus far. I'm sure she'll be higher in future tier lists, but for right now, she has to stay here. Time for the B tier peeps. At number 20, we have Cho Yoshida, the ultimate J-pop idol. Honestly, Cho was a pleasant surprise, because I was convinced I wouldn't like her. Idols as a theme in general isn't really for me, but Cho was quite nice. And I did appreciate some lore drops like her knowing martial arts. As a former martial artist myself, I approve of this message. At number 19, we have Takeshi Yamamoto, the ultimate weightlifter. There's nothing wrong with Takeshi per se, just that, you know me, I love buff characters. But Takeshi is sadly forgettable. His intro was cool and he had that moment where he used Ko to break the front doors, but since there was no CG or anything to showcase his feat, it's still not the most memorable. For the longest time I was under the impression Hideyoshi was the one breaking down the door, so yeah, he's not bad, but he's not great either so far at least. GME goes to number 18, and honestly, I am a bit disappointed by how low I placed her, considering I was expecting her to be from my favorite ones. It's not that GME is a bad character, she's still pretty fun, but again, not the most relevant character in the story so far. If GME does become the side protagonist like I predicted, she'll be getting more screen time at least. Kyoran Murashita is at number 17, and I'm a bit surprised because I like GME, I wasn't sure if I'd like him. As a con artist, I'm sure Kyoran will be very deceitful, and usually I'm not the biggest fan of liars. So far though, Kyoran is very pleasant of a character, so we'll see how he goes. At number 16 we have Rei Fukuno, the ultimate Itako. Now, I'll say, Rei seems like the typical comic relief character, which is usually something I'm not the biggest fan of, but Rei does bring something different to the table, thanks to her very old school lifestyle. Her talent is also really interesting and even made me go and check out more about the taco practice as a whole. It's pretty cool, not gonna lie. At the top of B tier, there is Satoru Tachibana, the ultimate historian. Satoru was my favorite during the audition phase, and while usually that stays the same afterwards, Satoru has fallen off in my eyes. I still like him, of course, just that after watching the prologue, some characters I didn't like originally have gone way out now. We've made it to the A tier. At number 14 we have Keisuke Fujinuma. Here's the first Yakuza member, the second lieutenant, I believe. I was going to like Keisuke because, yes, I like suits, but I ended up liking the character during Momoka's day off. I tend to like the loyal right-hand type of characters, though if we could have seen Keisuke when Ryusei was alive, I think that'd be much higher. I wasn't sure if I liked Momoka more than Keisuke, but the third lieutenant goes to number 13. While some of her traits are a bit too childish for a 30-year-old woman, Momoka is a fun character and I like the dynamic she has with the other lieutenants, especially Hirotaka. She can also be more mature when she wants to, which is nice to see. Hopefully we'll see more of her and Ryuji in the future, because that's another dynamic we need to see explored. At number 12 we have the former ultimate hacker, Denshi Shigenobu. Honestly, before the prologue I was certain I wouldn't like Denshi. So, I don't know if it's because I'm Seth build or because I tend to like the characters he voices, but Denshi moved up a lot. I wasn't expecting him and Akira to be connected, and now I wish we could have seen more of those two. Akira so far has appeared to be very strong and cocky, so it was a nice change to see a different side of her in that intro scene of Denshi's side story. Hoping we see more flashbacks in the future. Hideyoshi Kurosawa, the ultimate taekwondo practitioner, makes his way to number 11, barely not making it to the top 10. I think Hideyoshi is proof of what world building does to characters. Back in the audition phase, I saw Hideyoshi and I was completely uninterested in him. I think I didn't even record an audition, which is rare because usually I go for almost all available roles. And yet, just by adding some lore to his character makes him 10 times better. I love the relationship he and Katsuhiko have, and I think that makes him one of the most memorable characters of the cast from the prologue. I'm pretty sure he had a decent amount of screen time too. Here we are, the top 10. Feels like forever compared to the previous tier lists, not gonna lie. At number 10 there is the first lieutenant, Hirotaka Eguchi. Hirotaka is a nice guy, if you ignore the fact he's a criminal. He's buff, so that's a plus, and I really like the dynamic he has with the rest of the Yakuza. There's some sort of nostalgic feeling about all of them. I don't know why. I fear he'll die by the end of the story, but nonetheless, he's my favorite of the lieutenants. At the top of A tier, and at number 9, we have Yumeo Arakawa. Yumeo is another character I didn't expect to like as much as I did. When I first saw him, he looked to me like the brooding hot guy type. You know the ones, Yoshi Todoroki's and Sasuke's, etc. This may be a false theory, but with all the theorizing I did about him and Shion being closer, I've grown to like this man. Let's see where he'll go. Entering the S tier peeps, at number 8, there is Otome Hanayama. The ultimate mangaka is a character I was certain I'd like. I think Otome was my favorite girl from the cast, back when I first saw them many years ago. If you've seen past rankings of mine, you'll know why. A loud, foul-mouthed woman? Yes sir! Sadly, Otome is pretty forgettable so far in the story, which is why she doesn't crack the top 5. I really hope we see more of her in the future. There's only one Yakuza member left, so we might as well get it over with, right? Ryuji Himura, the big boss man himself, is at number 7. It goes to show how much I like this dude when he had all of maybe 2 or 3 minutes of screen time. Crazily enough, he's from the more memorable members of the cast, regardless. Despite his position, he's a very sympathetic character and pretty fun too. I mentioned it earlier, but I love the dynamic the Yakuzas have, and I hope we see more of this awkward guy trying to socialize. I swear, the scene where he's trying to invite himself at the lieutenant's dinner plans reminds me something straight out of The Office, but more fun and less second-hand embarrassment cringe. At number 6 we have the Goddess of Creation. Izanami Hoshimiya, the ultimate question mark, is very mysterious and I love that. She's relevant in the story, which is a big plus, and there's so much lore and theories to be made of her character that has made me like her quite a lot. I wonder what her real talent is, and I'm sad we're not going to find it anytime soon. We only have 5 more characters left. If you've made it this far into the video, why don't you go ahead and comment down below your guess on who my favorite character is going to be. I feel bad putting him this high, but the Commissioner General Isao Morita is in the top 5 spot. Buff characters in suits, dream combo, plus he's a leader character, plus he's cool as fuck. How can I not put him this high? His dynamic with Denshi was pretty fun too. Brought back memories from the movies where there's the good cop and the unruly wildcard that the police brought along for the case. I can't recall the name of a specific movie, but I visualized in my head various duos from said films. At number 4, there is Tomoya Morita, the ultimate therapist. Another character blessed with the gift of screen time. While originally he was a character I didn't think much of, seeing him so much during the prologue has definitely made him one of my favorites. I like that despite him being a therapist, he's surprisingly insecure and tactless, and the recurring gag of him getting rejected by the girls all the time reminds me of older cartoons and shows. You know, I've mentioned a lot of nostalgia moments so far, huh? I just noticed. Akira Hayasaka lands herself at 3rd place. Honestly, a pretty respectable result, considering where 2 out of the 3 other protagonists have landed. I really like her sassy attitude, and her and Tomoya's dynamic, as well as her relationship with Denshi. Her having 2 talents is also really cool, we've never seen that before. I know that right now she's really high because a lot of the main cast peeps barely had any screen time, but I'm willing to bet that Akira will remain at the top 10 at the very least until the end of the show. 2nd place goes to Katsuhiko Minamoto, the ultimate debater. I'm so glad Katsu is not as stuck up and annoying as I was thinking of originally. The dynamic with Hideyoshi as well as Izanami and Yumio definitely brings him up. Thankfully, he has enough screen time as well, and honestly, I find his character very funny. If he didn't have this silly haircut, maybe he'd appear more serious, but right now, he's a goofy looking yet very intelligent dude. Only thing I don't understand is, why does he have a British accent? Well, seems like I'm Morita peeled after all, huh? Oh, 3 Moritas in the top 5? What kind of tier list is this? Well, I'm sorry. Shion Morita, the ultimate criminologist, is my favorite character from Artless Deceit. I love her design and her personality. She's like that one mom friend, almost. Maybe I'm reaching too much for that one, actually. She doesn't have the most screen time, but every time she's been on screen, she's been great. And again, the lore, the theories, her relationship with Tomoya, her interactions with Akira, the theories about her and Yumio, mostly from me. I haven't seen anyone else saying much on the topic. I just can't help myself, she has to be at the top. Peak character. Watch me change my mind in the next tier list. Anyway, here you go. You should be seeing the entire tier list now, but these are my rankings on the cast of Artless Deceit. Let me know who your favorite character is in the comments below. I'm always interested in seeing what you guys have to say. Of course, this means there won't be many videos on Artless Deceit in the near future, as we'll have to wait for more news. But that will be all for today. Thank you for watching, and until the next video, do take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.